When it comes to forces of attraction, hydrogen bonding may just be the most important one in nature. What is hydrogen bonding? Well, it's an intermolecular force, and in fact it's probably the strongest intermolecular force that exists. And how it comes into being is that usually there will be a strong attraction between the lone pair of electrons on a highly electronegative nitrogen, oxygen or fluorine atom to an adjacent highly electropositive hydrogen atom, which is itself bonded to a nitrogen, oxygen or fluorine atom on a neighbouring molecule. And that creates this very strong intermolecular force known as a hydrogen bond. So how exactly would you go about spotting that a hydrogen bond is even present? Well, there's a couple of clues you might be looking out for. Firstly, you'll be looking out for the presence of those highly electronegative nitrogen, oxygen or fluorine atoms which themselves are directly bonded to an electropositive hydrogen. And then on another molecule, we're looking for a nearby oxygen, nitrogen or fluorine. So this little picture here shows you opportunities for hydrogen bonding to form. The next question is, how do you go about drawing hydrogen bonding? Well, the example I've chosen is between an ethanol molecule and a water molecule. Here is the diagram now, and you can see the first thing is showing all of the delta negative and delta positive charges on the oxygen and hydrogen atoms. Next, it's showing all the lone pairs on the oxygen atoms in those molecules. And finally, the hydrogen bond itself is between the delta positive hydrogen on the ethanol and the delta negative oxygen, particularly the lone pair on the oxygen of the water molecule. And that's how you draw a hydrogen bond. Now, why is hydrogen bonding quite so important? Let's start with ice. Ice has a fascinating and really important property. It's less dense than liquid water due to the fact that the hydrogen bonding of the water molecules creates an open hexagonal lattice structure. Just imagine the impact if ice didn't float in water during something like an ice age. Marine life would literally be crushed by falling blocks of ice. Stick with the theme of water, we're going to talk about something known as surface tension. And the best example of this is probably something like a pond skater being able to walk along the surface of the water. Why is that? We can explain this in terms of the hydrogen bonding. Under the surface of the water, where there's lots of water molecules, there's uniform forces of attraction in all directions between the water molecules, which are hydrogen bonds. However, at the surface, between the water and the air, there are greater forces of attraction between the water molecules than there are to the air particles above, which results in a net lateral downwards force of attraction between the water molecules themselves. And these surface water molecules are compressed more tightly together at the surface, creating a smooth surface upon which the pond skater, for example, can press without breaking through. Hydrogen bonding is also a crucial prerequisite for life on Earth, especially plants. Take a cross-section for any plant stem, you'll find two main transportation routes, the phloem for sugars and proteins and the xylem for water. Also moves up the xylem as a column via the cohesion tension theory. Transpiration in the leaves, where there's water evaporating and leaving via the stomata, is creating a pulling effect, and as water molecules are moving, hydrogen bonds between different water molecules creates a continuous flow of column of water up from the roots via the xylem to the leaves. And it's not just plants. We also need hydrogen bonding to keep us alive as well. Take all your proteins, for example. The secondary, tertiary, and quaternary structures of your proteins, which involve very careful folding and interaction between polypeptide chains, is held together by disulfide bonds and hydrogen bonds. Without those hydrogen bonds, that folding and intricate nature would be impossible. It goes further. Other key biological molecules also require hydrogen bonding to exist in the stable form we find them. For example, deoxyribose nucleic acid, or DNA. The nucleotide-based pairings, guanine and cytosine and adenine and thymine, are held together with each other via hydrogen bonds between the nitrogens, oxygens and hydrogens that make up their molecular structures. It's these hydrogen bonds that hold together the famous DNA double helix. And it's also these hydrogen bonds which are broken by DNA helicase to unwind the DNA ready for replication. Without hydrogen bonding, we wouldn't be able to replicate. Hydrogen bonding can even save your life. It can stop bullets. You may have heard of Kevlar, the polymer used in the weave of bulletproof vests and stab-proof vests. Well, the chains of this condensation polymer are held together by hydrogen bonding between these polymer chains. It holds these polymer chains tightly together. When a bullet impacts Kevlar, it loses a lot of energy and momentum as it tries to work its way through this structure. So hydrogen bonding, it's pretty amazing.